Cell unit in another major milestone in the treatment of the disease in Antigua and Barbuda. Fresh concern about the growing number of younger people being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. We'll hear from a medical practitioner. Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Gaston Brown, says there will be no move toward making the CCJ the country's final court of appeal during this term, as he raises fresh concern about the maturity of the judiciary. We'll hear from the Prime Minister. And Grace Farm resident charged after allegedly stealing over $50,000 worth of goods last week. Those are the major stories this evening. The news in detail starts right now.
The local evening news is brought to you by Nagico, local agents Bryson's Insurance.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us for the ABS Evening News on this Monday. A special welcome to those joining us on our various online platforms. My name is Garfield Burford. And as you join us at the top of this broadcast, a developing story, there has been another major milestone in public healthcare delivery with the opening of a new sickle cell unit of the Celeste Bird Medical Center. The facility is on the grounds of the old Halberton Hospital and is equipped to provide sickle cell patients with faster, specialized care during painful crises. Our top story is from Samantha Simon.
For people living with sickle cell disease, a painful crisis often meant a long wait in a busy emergency room. Health Minister Honorable Michael Joseph says the government's commitment to sickle cell care must continue.
Our commitment must be ongoing. We must continue to assess the needs of our patients, strengthen our services, invest in our healthcare professionals, and build partnerships that allow us to improve the standard of care available to our people here in Antigua and Barbuda.
Medical Director at the Sir Leicester Bird Medical Center, Dr. Siobhan Bell Jarvis, says the new unit places Antigua and Barbuda among a small group of Caribbean territories with dedicated sickle cell services.
We are pleased to be the second country, as far as we are aware, in the English-speaking Caribbean to open a sickle cell unit dedicated to the management of patients with sickle cell disease. We are second only to Jamaica, and we are happily joining Martinique and Guadeloupe.
The unit will integrate with the National Newborn Screening Program, which has screened more than 4,400 babies since 2020. Sickle Cell Association President Dr. Eda Hadid says the milestone comes after more than 15 years of advocacy.
I'm going to spend a moment to honor the memory and the work of Nurse Bernice Piggott, the founder and late president of the Antigua and Barbuda Sickle Cell Association. Nurse Piggott was the first one in our community to understand and pursue the vision of a dedicated sickle cell unit, and she was going to move mountains for it.
Patient representative Ulysses Nicholas says the unit means sickle cell warriors will finally be treated with understanding during their most vulnerable moments.
This is like a dream come true for all of us sickle cell warriors in Antigua and Barbuda. It's not just about receiving medical care in a timely manner, especially when we are most vulnerable, most misunderstood, like during a painful crisis.
The unit is overseen by Dr. Vigna Raja and will operate Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., with patients able to access the services starting Wednesday, August 19th. Samantha Simon, ABS News.
Thanks so much, Samantha. Of course, we'll keep across that story and keep you updated in subsequent newscasts as well. More news about healthcare, because the Department of Pharmaceutical Services and the Health Ministry is urging residents to check their medications following the recall of specific batches of 3 products distributed in Antigua and Barbuda. Well, the recalls affect specific batches of Diovan 160 milligram tablets, atorvastatin 10 milligrams and 20 milligram tablets, and cetirizine, a hydrochloride 5 milligram tablets as well. Here's more, because one lot of Diovan used to treat high blood pressure and heart failure was recalled after testing identified a problem with how the medicine dissolves in the body. And these are the various affected products in relation to Diovan. You're seeing them on your screen, as well as the dates that you should also be looking for. So again, if you have this medication in your medicine cabinet, you'd want to take it back to the place that you purchased it from, and also seek advice as well from the Department of Pharmaceutical Services. Several batches of Atorsen used to lower cholesterol are also being recalled following out of specification results during stability testing. Deadline for returning the affected atorvastatin products is September 4 of 2026. Of course, you're seeing there in relation to the cetirizine, 4 lots of cetirizine and antihistamine used to treat allergies are being recalled because of possible cross-contamination with ranitidine. Well, the Department of Pharmaceutical Services says people should check the batch of lot numbers on their packaging and return affected products to the pharmacy or place where they were purchased. Patients taking prescribed Diovan or atorvastatin are being warned not to stop their medication without first speaking with a doctor or pharmacist. More news about healthcare, because type 2 diabetes is no longer a disease we can think of as a problem of the elderly. Well, Antiguan infectious disease specialist Dr. Amina Goodwin Fernandez says she's seeing more people in their teenage years, as well as 20s and 30s, being diagnosed with the condition. Dr. Goodwin Fernandez, who practices in the United States, says the shift has become increasingly clear over the past 2 decades she has been practicing.
I treat adults, so we would see people in their early 20s, people late teens developing diabetes, and also speaking with my pediatrician colleagues, they're diagnosing children younger and younger with type 2 diabetes. So we know it can happen at almost any age. I mean, usually it's like after the child starts eating the normal foods that everybody's eating, then they have the problems.
She also says diabetes frequently occurs alongside other non-communicable diseases, including high blood pressure and high cholesterol, which increase the risk of cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, and strokes.
I think we should be very concerned because, I mean, we all see, like, you know, if you look at the obituaries, people, just these younger ages of people, and people should not be dying in the prime of life, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s. This is the prime of life. And like I said, in medical school, it was like the 60s, late 70s and 80-year-olds that we would see with diabetes. But now, so many people with these conditions. So I think we should be very concerned because having these conditions will definitely impact productivity.
Meanwhile, to combat NCDs, Dr. Goodwin Fernandez argues that a critical gap needs to be filled. Patients need ongoing education and coaching, not just a prescription.
I think a big gap in treatment is maybe doctors not having the time to explain to the patients affected and population in general the cause, like the root cause of what's going on, and not having the time to explain what needs to be done, and not explain it once, but to follow up with patients regularly.
Meanwhile, Dr. Amina Goodwin Fernandez says reviving group-based diabetes education programs that previously operated in Antigua and Barbuda could offer the repeated education, monitoring, and support that patients need to address the underlying factors contributing to NCDs. She's encouraging the revival of MBS programs that focused on meetings with healthcare professionals to learn about diabetes and how to manage their condition. Well, she believes a similar model could be reintroduced and expanded to cover diabetes and other non-communicable diseases.
Some of us in the clinics would go to medical benefits, and there would be a good group of people coming out every week to understand and learn about their condition, diabetes. And I think programs like that, because Antigua has that health, medical benefits, and that sort of national health system. And Antigua is small, and I think it's an easy thing that we could implement in Antigua, where diabetics and other people, in fact, just in general for their health, could convene either individual clinics to decentralize it, or maybe there can be, you know, programs at the medical benefits headquarters as well.
Dr. Goodwin Fernandez was the guest on maybe today to this morning. Well, the Antigua-Barbuda Diabetes Association has been providing diabetes education and support for decades and currently conducts screening and education in schools, workplaces, and communities. Its activities also include group walks, exercise programs, church health promotions, and school outreach. Well, the association's focus on younger people has also grown. Dr. Goodwin Fernandez says those kinds of initiatives needed to become part of a sustained approach. Matters now from the police blotters, and law enforcers have arrested and charged 40-year-old Tony Fontaine of Grace Farm in connection with a break-in at Sunny Limited on Long Street in St. John's. Fontaine is charged with breaking and entering and larceny, as well as malicious damage to the company's closed-circuit television system. Well, police say merchandise and other property valued at about 53,000 EC dollars were stolen between August 10 and 11. The stolen items reportedly include footwear, clothing, jeans, school bags, suitcases, traveling bags, speakers, solar lights, solar radios, a washing machine, refrigerator, card machine, children's personal care items, and 2 DVR systems. The CCTV system, valued at about $50,000, was also allegedly damaged. We'll keep you across the story as Fontaine is before the courts. We're tracking this developing story as well. Antigua and Barbuda had the lowest gasoline and diesel prices across the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union last month. Here's the latest, because data on energy prices from the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank show the price of $14.50 in Antigua Barbuda for a gallon of gasoline was well below the ECCU average of $17.66 last month. Montserrat had the highest gasoline price of $20.74 per gallon, with Dominica second at $19.03. Meanwhile, Antigua and Barbuda's diesel price of $14.25 was well below the ECCU average of $18.16 last month. St. Kitts and Nevis had the highest diesel price last month of $23.20, followed by Montserrat at $19.84. As we mentioned, Antigua Barbuda the lowest at $14.25. Meanwhile, the Twin Islands state has the second lowest price in the ECCU for the 20-pound liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG, at $32, with only St. Kitts and Nevis at $30 being lower, while the highest price was in Anguilla at $55.58 and $40 in Grenada. Meanwhile, Antigua and Barbuda also has the second lowest price in the ECCU for the 100-pound LPG at $155, only bettered by St. Kitts and Nevis at $140. The highest prices are in St. Lucia at $288.50 and Grenada at $276. Developing this evening as well, a move to make the Caribbean Court of Justice, Antigua and Barbuda's final court of appeal, appears off the table for the remainder of the term of the Gaston Brown administration. The Prime Minister is questioning the maturity of the judiciary for such a move, as are Alicia reports.
Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Gaston Brown, says he will not pursue another referendum on replacing the Privy Council with the Caribbean Court of Justice as debate intensifies over lenient sentences handed down under the purview of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court.
I'm not arguing against the transition, and I will continue to support that transition. But I have to accept that we are probably not at the level of maturity to make that transition as yet. So, for example, there's no way this term that we would even try to make that transition because we are not at that level of maturity.
Antigua and Barbuda currently retains the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council in the United Kingdom as its final court of appeal. But while the Prime Minister says he supports the eventual transition to the CCJ, he argues that the current controversy shows more work is needed to build public confidence in regional judicial institutions.
I am a supporter of transitioning to the Caribbean Court of Justice. We held a referendum here, and I did my best to support that transition. But I recognize that the people are not necessarily wrong, The level of maturity in our judiciary is such that it has created an element of fear within the society. And they feel that the anonymity that they get out of the United Kingdom, the Privy Council, protects them, and I can't fault them.
The Prime Minister's latest position follows a heated week of debate after he threatened to deport a sitting judge over what he described as lenient sentences and criticized the courts for being disconnected from the realities of society. The controversy has also brought the long-standing question of Antigua and Barbuda's final court of appeal back into focus. At the start of the 2026 legal year, Attorney General the Honourable Sir Sted-Roy Benjamin identified the long-overdue accession to the appellate jurisdiction of the CCJ as part of constitutional reform. He described the continued reliance on a foreign jurisdiction for final appeals as an affront to sovereignty. Antigua and Barbuda has already tested the question at the polls. In 2018, a referendum on the issue failed. The no vote accounted for 52.4%, while the yes vote received 47.96%. The president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Justice Adrian Saunders, said then that one of the reasons the referendum failed was the fact that people have unhappy experiences with their local justice systems. Alicia George for ABS News.
In this developing story, Antigua and Barbuda continues to press the United States to reconsider its inclusion in a U.S. visa bond program that could require some travelers to post up to $20,000 before entering the U.S. Grenada is making a similar request. The two governments have formally asked the United States to review their inclusion in this program. Well, Maurice Merchant, the Director General of Communications in the Prime Minister's office, says Washington has acknowledged receipt of communications from Prime Minister the Right Honourable Gaston Brown and Grenadian Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell. He says Antigua-Barbuda is now awaiting a formal response. Merchant says Antigua-Barbuda will continue pressing Washington if a response is not received within the expected time frame. The government is also discussing another issue with the U.S., the treatment of third country nationals traveling through or from Antigua-Barbuda. Merchant describes those discussions as a work in progress, with the government awaiting a formal response from the Trump administration in Washington. Well, an application designed to make child maintenance payments easier is nearing implementation, with the Family Court expected to provide an update within weeks. Well, the Director General of Communications in the Prime Minister's office, Maurice Merchant, says authorities are now fine-tuning plans for the app's rollout. He said the Family Court will make an announcement in the coming weeks on its implementation. Merchant could not, however, confirm whether Cabinet has abandoned a separate proposal to publicly name people who fail to pay court-ordered child maintenance. The proposal to publish the names was previously discussed as a possible way of putting pressure on delinquent parents to meet their obligations. But Merchant acknowledged that publishing the names could have unintended consequences, suggesting it could attract rather than deter attention to the individuals involved. The Family Court is expected to clarify both the rollout of the application and the status of the proposed publication of names when it makes that announcement. Well, Antigua and Barbuda continues to receive support from its regional security allies ahead of November's hosting of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, or CHOGM, to be held in this country from November 1 to 4. A 4-member contingent from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, departed Antigua-Barbuda over the weekend after a week of collaborations with the Royal Police Force of Antigua and Barbuda. The Jamaican team assisted in the assessment and evaluation of several venues to be used throughout the Commonwealth Summit. Commissioner of Police Everton Jeffrey says the team shared a wealth of knowledge and experience with their local counterparts. The police commissioner adds regional and international security partners play a significant role in the CHOGM security preparations. Antigua-Barbuda is immersed in preparations to host the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. It will be the smallest country ever to host the summit, when leaders from the 55 other nations in the Commonwealth gather in this country for crucial discussions on consequential matters. Well, 4 Antigua and Barbuda participants have traveled to China for an international training program focused on water-saving irrigation and modern agricultural practices. The group left Antigua and Barbuda on Sunday and includes farmer Jerris George, Clementina Morgan, and Claire Thomas of the Antigua-Barbuda Agricultural Forum for Youth, that's ABAFI, and science teacher Alcia Benjamin. The seminar runs from August 19 to September 1, primarily in Beijing, the capital, with technical visits also planned in Hebei province. Participants will receive training in areas including sprinkler irrigation, soil and water monitoring technologies, water and fertilizer systems, and the use of digital technology to manage agricultural water resources. The program is expected to provide practical knowledge that could help support more climate-resilient farming, improve water efficiency, and strengthen food security in Antigua and Barbuda. We're also monitoring this developing story and an ABS News update now. Antigua and Barbuda's 45th anniversary of independence celebrations will come with several changes to the traditional calendar this year as organizers adjust the program around CHOGM 2026. One of the biggest changes will see the popular Independence Food Fair move from November 1 to Sunday, October 25, when it will be held alongside the school's panorama competition and the National Independence Church Service. Take a listen.
Well, as you are aware, that we do have a special event coming up this year, which is our CHOGM event. And so we are unable to have the food fair with the ceremonial parade.
Okay.
But it is not new that the food fair coincides with another event. So the food fair and the junior panorama competition, it will complement each other.
Now, the food fair will begin from 7:30 that morning, while the National Church Service is set for 4 in the afternoon, and the primary and secondary schools panorama competition begins at 6 p.m. The calendar also features several new or revamped activities, including a special reception for this year's national honorees, a Golden Age Gala for senior citizens, and the return of school murals and an evening of drama.
We want our children to understand how we grew up and that they can perhaps come back and begin to enjoy what made us people. It gave us personality. It shows, it selected who were the leaders and who were the followers. And hopefully if we can bring this back and put down our devices for a bit, then it will continue to resonate in these generations and generations to come.
Now, another major addition is Distinctly Antigua, set for Saturday, October 31 at the Botanical Gardens. It will feature traditional games, local food, music, dominoes, wari, family go-kart building, and even a rice pudding competition. The Independence program begins with the Youth Rally on October 22 and continues through November 1. The ceremonial parade will begin at 5:45 a.m. on Independence Day, with a cricket match also planned following the ceremony. Now, this year's 45th anniversary of independence, and of course we'll keep across that one in relation to the independence activities. This year's 45th anniversary is being scheduled under the theme Renaissance, rooted in pride and bound by prosperity for all. Again, let's go back to the picture there in relation to the activities. Of course, as you see there, the ceremonial parade, as you mentioned, there will take place. That should be 5:45 p.m., not a.m. So the ceremonial parade will begin at 5:45 p.m. on Independence Day, with a cricket match also planned following that ceremony in the evening. We're also following this developing story. Strathfields Funeral Home has issued a notice requesting the families of 9 deceased individuals to make contact to arrange private burials. Operations Manager Janelle Saunders will be available to assist families at 462-0575 or 462-2954. If any family member or if any family does not contact Strathfields within 14 days after the appearance of this notice, the government will make preparations for the deceased to be buried without any further notice. The names of the deceased and the dates upon which Strathfields received them are as follows: Purcell Hamilton, February 2, 2025. Sylvester Hunt, April 29, 2025. That should be Jean Tavas Locustix, that's May 16, 2025. Calvin Anthony, June 10, 2025. And Richard Ferrara, August 29, 2025. In addition, Trevor Roberts, September 30, 2025. Vernon Hippolyte, April 6, 2026. George Phyllis, that's April 24, 2026. And Eric Colburn, May 15, 2026. Well, in this ABS News update now, Lenia Bino continues to receive commendation on the heels of being named the 2026 Fempreneur awardee by the Caribbean Women in Leadership Antigua Barbuda National Chapter. Well, the award was presented late last week at Weatherhills Resort, as our Helisha Humphreys now reports.
Lenia Bino is the third recipient of the Civil Antigua and Barbuda Fempreneur Fund, an initiative aimed at supporting and developing women entrepreneurs.
When a woman-owned business succeeds, the benefits seldom remain with the owner alone. She employs others. She purchases goods and services from other local businesses. She supports her household. She mentors other women, my favorite part. She becomes visible proof to a young girl that her own ambitions are worthy and achievable.
Johnson says this is how individual enterprises contribute to national transformation. Investing in this thinking even further, Sewell also provides mentorship and training from the Intellectual Property Office, Inland Revenue, KFC and other entities for every applicant on business registration, understanding taxes, financial recording and more. Bino was selected from a short list of 5 entrepreneurs. The other finalists are Fiona Charles Richards of The Growth Place, Mona Gardner of Chats, Ashanta Tong of King Tess Enterprise and Lily Schofield of the Beehive Learning Center and Honey Tree Primary School.
I am absolutely blown away by everyone who's here today, everybody who took part. I love the sales pitch we saw, or the marketing pitches, I should say. I really enjoyed listening to that, and I wish all of you success. I wish all of you to continued courage to keep growing your businesses, maintaining them. And I want all of you to inspire the other women in your communities to do the same.
Bino follows 2024 recipient Sharon Brush and 2025 recipient Gano Samuel.
I look forward to what this can do for me and my business, but not just that, what it can do for the community, what it can do for other women and other aspiring entrepreneurs, because you really can start with nothing and you can become something much bigger. So thank you again to the team at Sewell.
I would like to congratulate the She Grow, Miss Bino, on her winnings this evening, and I am sure she will get much needed assistance.
Helisha Humphreys, ABS News.
Of course, thanks so much, Helisha. Now, of course, the Carnival's festivities are in the books. And with those festivities over, the AIDS Secretariat is giving members of the public another opportunity to know their HIV status. The late-night testing outreach runs from August 17 through Thursday, August 20. Well, AIDS Program Manager Delcora Williams says the initiative is specifically designed for people who may not be available to access testing during regular daytime hours. Take a listen.
It gives them the opportunity to come in, get tested without an appointment, and get to know their HIV status. Remember that it is very important that everyone know whether they're HIV negative or positive. If you're HIV negative, you can do everything to prevent yourself from ever contracting HIV, such as making sure that the person that you engage in unprotected sex with is also tested and know their status.
Well, Williams says testing is quick, confidential, and judgment-free, with results available within minutes. So again, it's another opportunity being presented by the AIDS Secretariat for individuals to know their HIV status. The late-night testing outreach runs from tonight, through to Thursday, August 20. Of course, I will keep across that story as well. All right, look, there are some of the national developments that we're tracking this evening. More on the other side of this break. Here's a look at what you can expect right after the break. Foreign Affairs Minister commends the Republic of India on its achievement as it celebrates its 80th anniversary of independence on August 15. We did that 2 days ago. We'll keep you across that story a bit later on. And a bit later on in sports as well. Well, there is joy for the Antigua Barbuda Young Benin boys in the CFU Challenge Series underway in the Dominican Republic. Plus, we'll also tell you how the women of this country fared in the gold medal match of the ECVA Volleyball Championships in the British Virgin Islands. We'll keep you across those stories in sports later, but first a break ahead of more national developments. You're in tune with the ABS Evening News on air and online.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're covered when your house gets flooded, getting your settlements quickly and fairly when a fire hits your home, and making sure your business can keep going even after an accident happens on site. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
On your mark. For the mornings you were up before the sun. Get set. For the nights you stayed longer than everyone else. And for the moments you pushed yourself beyond what you thought was possible. ECAP is here with you to help you cross the finish line. Introducing the ECAP Game Changers Scholarship, a one-time grant of 25,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars for one exceptional student athlete in track and field, football, or swimming who has received a partial scholarship to study abroad. If you are a resident of Antigua and Barbuda, aged 14 to 21, and entering your first year of study, this is your moment. Get recommended by your coach, write your 500-word essay, and apply today. Visit ecabank.com or email gamechangers@ecabank.com for more information. Applications close August 21st, 2026. The Eastern Caribbean Amalgamated Bank. Our future, our bank.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. You are in tune with the ABS Evening News on air and online. More national news now, because Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable E.P. Chet Green, is congratulating the Republic of India on its 80th independence celebrations and the strides the country has made. Well, Minister Green says India's struggle for freedom and its development as a sovereign democracy inspired Antigua and Barbuda and other countries in pursuing their own self-determination and independence. He highlighted the country's advocacy for developing countries and the global south and its emergence as a major global power. Pointing to the two countries' cooperation in education and training, healthcare, technology, and capacity building, Minister Green explains, quote, "Our own country has benefited from this generous and constructive partnership which continues to strengthen the bonds of friendship between our two nations, end quote. India gained independence from the British on August 15, 1947, after 200 years of colonial rule. The independence of then British India saw the creation of what is now known as the Republic of India and the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, with the People's Republic of Bangladesh gaining independence from Pakistan in 1971. Well, that's to take us out of a look at the national developments that we're tracking here. Of course, we should also tell you that our Terry Andrew and Ursula Charles Jr., two deputy directors here at ABS, are en route to India for media familiarization trips. So, of course, we wish them safe travels and all the best indeed. So you won't be able to see Terry and Ursula for the next few days. They'll be traveling to India for a few days. Or we should also tell you in a programming note that coming up at 8 this evening, it's another powerful edition of ABS TV Presents, The Census and You. We'll be talking about the questions asked in the census. We'll be explaining why those questions are important. And again, there's an opportunity for the National Bureau of Statistics to encourage members of the public to cooperate with the ongoing census. They want to complete the census by the end of this year, but that depends on your cooperation. You'll be hearing from two members of the census office this evening at 8. Can't afford to miss it. All right, turning now to the weather report and forecast. Joining us this evening is Bianca Best. Bianca will tell us what we can expect for the remainder of tonight into tomorrow and as we go on into the week. Good evening to you, Bianca. So any moisture in the forecast at all?
Good evening, Garfield, and good evening to everyone tuning in tonight. As for the forecast with moisture, I do have a little tidbit to share. However, do stay tuned and I'll tell you more about this after the break.
The weather report is brought to you by Leeward Islands Hurricane Protection.
When the skies are clear and the winds are calm, we often forget how unpredictable Mother Nature can be. But when a hurricane strikes, it's the strength of your home that matters most. Whether you are preparing for your first storm or looking to upgrade your current protection, Leeward Islands Hurricane Protection has got you covered. Our expert team handles everything from custom design to professional installation, ensuring your home is as strong as it is beautiful. Call today for a free consultation. Leeward Islands Hurricane Protection, built strong to weather any storm.
And welcome back. So taking a look at the satellite imagery for tonight, not much in part of cloud cover for Antigua and Barbuda, just a few bit of those shallow patches which would have reflected what we would have experienced today, being those partly cloudy conditions, and just a few brief passing showers. If we look just east of us, we do see that there is some cloud cover, a broad area of activity over here that is in association with a tropical wave that is approaching us. Nonetheless, I still definitely want to point out that we do have this very large plume of Saharan dust still prevalent over us here in the Eastern Caribbean. If I take a look at the infrared imagery, just to highlight the activity associated with this tropical wave, we do see that a bit of activity is just east of us, and we are expecting that to move on in hopes that we get those showers of blessings. The models are projecting that we still could get maybe about a 70% chance of showers, and in conjunction with some daytime heating, we could as well experience a thunderstorm here or there. Now, going into the forecast for tonight, we do expect, just a brief passing shower here or there, and a 60% chance of showers. Partly cloudy, a bit breezy, the haze is still lingering nonetheless. We will still maintain an overnight low of 26 degrees Celsius or 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Going in for tomorrow, as I said, that tropical wave is approaching us, and we will maintain those 70% chance of showers and a 30% chance of thunderstorms, be it that we do get that daytime heating to boost some of that instability in the area. Daytime highs will peak to about 33 degrees Celsius. The winds will maintain that moderate flow, so it will be a bit gusty at times depending on if we're having a few downpours. Sunrise at 5:51, sunset at 6:31. As for the seas, marine conditions remain moderate for now. We are going to expect 4 to 6 feet significant wave height over open waters. Winds will be a bit brisk, so those who are going to be out on the waters, please take caution. As for it, we do have a small craft caution in effect. Going in for the 4-day forecast, tomorrow, of course, we are still maintaining that 30% chance of a thunderstorm. Nonetheless, some passing showers that could linger just a few minutes longer than we have been experiencing over the past few days. As for Wednesday through Friday, we will see more generally settled conditions taking effect. We will maintain a daily high of about 34 degrees Celsius and an overnight low of 26 degrees Celsius. And those seas should remain moderately fair for sea bathers and small craft operators. Nonetheless, caution must always be exercised. This is the end of tonight's forecast. Thank you.
And thank you too as well, Bianca. So a bit of a chance, a heightened chance of showers, but then again, on past experience, we have to temper our expectations because of the dryness of the atmosphere.
It is so dry, it is so dry. I do want to highlight again that those persons who are at a higher risk for respiratory conditions, take caution and please be safe.
Absolutely. Bianca reminds us that her surname has no T in it. It says Bianca Bess, even though she's one of the best at the weather. Thank you so much, Bianca. Really appreciate it. Bianca Bess with the weather report and forecast. Bianca and her colleagues at the Met Office always ensure that we are the people, we are the place for timely and credible updates on your forecast, whatever the vicissitudes and vagaries of the weather may be. All right, up next, we'll take you to a look at news overseas. One of the stories that we're tracking closely, the Twin Island Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis is transitioning its economic strategy to reduce reliance on the Citizenship by Investment program. We'll explain how they're doing it. And a bit later on in international developments, U.S. President Donald Trump warns U.S. ally Oman not to interfere with his administration's talks with Iran over the Strait of Hormuz, threatening to bomb Oman. We'll update you on those developments next. Stay with us.
Reporting live from Caribbean Union Bank's press conference, where bank representatives will address its customers and the media, explaining just how CUB simplifies life through its financing.
Today, my team and I will share with you how CUB's financial solutions are designed to simplify your life. Now, let's open the floor for any questions that you may have.
How can you help me as a retiree?
That's a good question. We offer customized retirement solutions at competitive rates.
How easy is it for me to switch my mortgage to CUB?
With attractive interest rates and minimal switching fees, CUB makes switching mortgages easy.
Do you offer point-of-sale machines?
Absolutely. All point-of-sale systems can speed up checkout and boost sales.
Those were great questions, and our team is here to further support you. We're Caribbean Union Bank, the bank that cares, and our doors are open to welcome you.
Welcome to Hadid Dental Clinic, where your oral health and beautiful smile are our top priority. We utilize state-of-the-art technology, like advanced panoramic X-rays, for precise diagnostics. Our experienced team is dedicated to providing comprehensive dental care, from routine checkups and restorative procedures to enhancing your smile with professional teeth whitening. At Hadid Dental, we embrace innovation, like advanced intraoral scanning for accurate digital impressions, ensuring the highest quality and efficiency in your treatment. Whether it's complex procedures or detailed imaging, our commitment is to your lasting oral health. Hadid Dental Clinic. Your smile, our priority. Visit us today.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. You are in tune with the ABS Evening News on air and online. Turning next news overseas, starting in the region. St. Kitts and Nevis is reducing its reliance or its dependence on its Citizenship by Investment program, the CIP. News of this follows a significant effort made by OECS countries, including Antigua and Barbuda, to tighten and streamline CIP regulations following criticisms expressed by the US and the European Union. ZIZ News shares excerpts from Financial Secretary Carlton Pogson on that issue.
The previous year budget in particular
about 49% of the budget, the revenue side of the budget was based on CBI.
Revenue generated from CBI.
Correct. And I would have said to the Honorable Cabinet, look, we cannot be anchoring the budget on something we have no direct control over. And so for the 2026 budget, we moved from 49% down to 28%. And so while we are behind in terms of CBI revenue performance to date, the economy continues to float and operate well.
We'll, of course, keep across that story for you and keep you updated in relation to the situation in St. Kitts Nevis. Now, former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, is calling on the government of Kamala Persad-Bissessar to identify just how many citizens it has recommended to have their U.S. visas revoked. He also challenged Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar to explain the grounds on which she and others had previously called for the U.S. visas of himself and former Prime Minister Stuart Young to be cancelled. Here's more from CNC3.
Dr. Rowley's comments come amid renewed debate over U.S. visa revocations. He accuses UNC leaders and people close to the party of using the issue to intimidate citizens. Dr. Rowley cited an August 10th U.S. State Department statement outlining grounds for visa revocation, including criminal activity, visa violations, immigration abuse, and threats to U.S. national security. Dr. Rowley welcomed the clarification from U.S. authorities and is now questioning the basis for previous calls to revoke his visa and Young's.
From Trinidad and Tobago, let's go to the Commonwealth of Dominica, where a second police officer has now been charged with the murder of 16-year-old Jerbia Paul in that country. Paul was reported missing on July 24. Her body was recovered from a precipice a day after police brought an officer in for questioning in connection with her disappearance. Here's more from DBS News.
The officer from Portsmouth was picked up at Douglas Charles Airport last week on his return to the state and will be taken to court this morning, where the charge will be read to him. Jerbia Paul went missing on July 24 this year, and her remains were discovered last week in Capuchin. Police officer Jean-Luc Rudy Langley was charged with a murder and remanded in custody at Stockfarm Prison. Police Chief Lincoln Corbett said last week the police would pursue all those who are involved in the murder of Jerbia Paul.
Story takes us out of a look from Look at News regionally. Up next, international news and the latest threat from President Trump. He says Oman should steer out of the way of peace talks with Iran, or he could bomb Oman. Next.
From Boosted Seeds, I carry no cash. I tap and pay. I'm done in a flash.
Adventure is done. We grab a bite. I tap my card. It feels just right.
We booked our trip and paid with ease. Checked my rewards. Upgrade, yes please.
Paid it online while out with the crew. Tap for drinks. It's easy to do.
They tap, I drive. It's quick, it's clear. No counting cash or waiting here.
I use my card to keep things smooth. And my rewards? Wow, they really move.
ACB Visa Credit Card. My life, my card, my rewards. Get yours today. Terms and conditions apply.
And you're done. Oh my God, this looks so nice. You are a magician, girl. Tell me, how much I have for you again? $150? Okay. I only have $130. I went to the gas station this morning.
No worries, I have eGov Tap to Pay. I can use my Android phone or Android tablet to receive payments.
Okay, girl, let me look my card. I absolutely love the fact that you're with the times.
Thank you.
Yes, girl.
Call eGov at 480-6186 or email cardservices@ecabank.com to apply for a Tap to Pay feature.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Time now for a look at news farther afield. U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to bomb Oman, a U.S. ally, if it gets in the way of his administration's own talks with Iran. The US and Oman have been negotiating separately with Tehran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a waterway that is vital to the global economy. It has been largely closed for nearly 6 months during the US-Iran war. Here's more from the Associated Press on the president's comments.
After Iran said it was working to finalise a joint statement with Oman on a plan to manage shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, US President Donald Trump made a threat that he would bomb Oman if it got in the way of a deal. Details have previously emerged that Oman and Iran would reopen the strait with ships entering through a route close to Iran and exiting through a route close to Oman without paying fees or tolls during an interim period. Speaking to a Fox News reporter, Trump threatened Oman not to get in the way of any potential deal, allegedly using an expletive for emphasis, though Fox News did not provide audio of the interview. It's not the first time Trump has threatened Oman. In May, he told reporters during a cabinet meeting that Oman will behave just like everybody else, or we will have to blow them up.
Let's go to the news from Africa now. The Democratic Republic of Congo's latest Ebola outbreak has killed 2,325 people, making it the country's deadliest outbreak on record. Well, nearly 5,000 cases have been confirmed as the virus spreads to a 6th province, while health authorities work to tackle mistrust and contain transmission. Well, 2 vaccines have also entered early human trials, as France 24 reports.
In the DRC, Ebola is now killing a victim every 30 minutes, according to the UN. And last week, it spread to its 6th province in the country.
We're very afraid. Since the beginning of May, many people have died, and it keeps happening. What is happening is that if someone has a headache, fever, or stomachache, they die after a while.
The outbreak was officially declared on the 15th of May. Although it is thought to have begun about 3 months before that, originally misdiagnosed as typhoid or malaria. In some instances, public health measures have been met with mistrust and anger. In the Ituri province, rioters set fire to a hospital after authorities prevented family and friends retrieving the body of a young man thought to have died from the virus.
Up next, a look at sports. The latest on the return of this country's swimmers after creating quite a splash in a recent regional championship. Plus, joy for the young Benin boys in the CFU Challenge Series in the Dominican Republic. Those stories next. Stay with us.
From the richness of the Caribbean soil,
fresh, pure, naturally powerful.
From wholesome roots to irresistible crunch. Made for your kitchen, your business,
your lifestyle.
Export quality, Caribbean grown.
Crispa, real Caribbean, real flavor. Available now.
Welcome back. Here is a whirlwind look at sporting developments now. Let's start with football. And Antigua Barbuda secured an opening victory against Dominica in the CFU Under-14 Boys Challenge Series in the Dominican Republic. The young Benin boys won 2-1 in their Tier 2 Group B encounter. Tavon Henderson gave the young Benin boys the lead in the 5th minute, latching on to a delightful through pass before Jaden Victor then secured an equalizer for Dominica on minute number 16. Antigua Barbuda then restored their lead on minute number 42, and that's how it ended as the young Benin boys secured all 3 points in that encounter. All right, well, let's turn our attention to volleyball now, and Bermuda's women volleyball team defeated Antigua Barbuda in 4 sets to claim the championship title on the final day of the 2026 ECVA Men's and Women's Volleyball Championship hosted in the British Virgin Islands. Bermuda's team sealed the 2026 women's title, defeating Antigua Barbuda 3-1 in the gold medal match. The scoreline 25-23, 27-25, 21-25, 25-20. In other matches on the final day, St. Lucia's women's team swept host nation, the BVI, 3-0 in straight sets, 25-19, 25-15, 25-22 to claim the bronze medal. Let's turn now to cricket, and Barbados Trident's six-hitting prowess helped them clinch the rain-hit game against the St. Lucia Kings in the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League on Sunday. In an 18-over-a-side game due to rain, Shafane Rutherford injected the firepower, hammering 4 sixes in the last 4 overs for a 27-ball 50, his second in a row that took Tridents to 177. His 31-ball 61 was decorated with 3 boundaries and 5 maximums. The Kings' chase was mostly about local boy Akeem Hogist, whose 34-ball 63 included 3 4s and 6 6s. But the chase was cut down by spinners Gudakesh Moti and Mujib Al-Rahman, who took 3 for 22 and 2 for 27 respectively from their 4 overs. The win sees Tridents move up to the top position on the points table. Of course, no matches today in the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League. Action resumes tomorrow in Kingston at Savannah Park, where hosts Jamaica Kingsmen take on St. Kitts Nevis Patriots. All right, let's tell you more now on a story that we promised you about swimming, and the curtains came down on the final session of the Goodwill Swimming Championships, with star performer Isabel Nicholas adding another 3 gold medals to her haul while capturing her age group high point trophy in Trinidad and Tobago. Isabel's outstanding performance recorded 7 new age group records, including breaking an 11-year-old record in the 50-meter backstroke with a time of 34.54 seconds. The previous record was of 35.56, set in 2015 by Chelsea Winter. Her 100 fly performance of 1 minute, 11.70 seconds established a new Goodwill meet record. Isabel is already qualified for Carifta 2027, having handsomely met and surpassed the qualifying times in at least 8 events. Nicholas amassed a total of 8 medals at the championship, 6 gold and 2 silver. We'll have the arrival of the full team, of course, returning from Trinidad and Tobago this afternoon. Our Sharif Sargent will report extensively on the performances of all the swimmers, creating quite a splash there in Trinidad and Tobago. And finishing off now with a look at this developing story that we're tracking. And one of Jamaica's greatest ever athletic coaches, Stephen Frano Francis, was laid to rest on Saturday in an emotional service at the National Indoor Sports Centre. Francis, founder of the renowned MVP Track Club, Maximizing Velocity and Power, that's MVP, passed away on July 4, a day after celebrating his 64th birthday. During the service that was attended by family members, friends, colleagues, athletes, and political figures, Francis was remembered as a man who made an outstanding contribution to athletics, not only in Jamaica, but internationally. One of the most emotional tributes came from former 100-meter world record holder Asafo Powell, who broke down in tears during his address. Powell said Francis was a role model throughout his years under his tutelage. May his memory be a blessing. That story takes us out of a look at the sporting developments and indeed our entire newscast. We appreciate your company. We remind you, coming up next, another edition of The Census and You. ABS TV presents a special 1-hour discussion with 2 officials of the National Bureau of Statistics as they outline why you need to participate in the ongoing census and why you shouldn't shy away from answering the questions. They'll explain why those questions are crucial. Up next on ABS TV Presents. I'm Garfield Burford on behalf of the entire team. Pleasant evening, pleasant viewing.
City Fight Samson, and I'm watching ABS TV. You should too. I'm out.